In the UK, it's Thursday. That means it's Blabbing for Britain with myself, John Upton, Stephen Silk. And what would it be if we didn't have the inimitable Peter Stewart?
Morning, Peter. Quiet, peaceful.
Oh,
oh right, how? I don't know how.
Remember that program?
Fred, yeah, it was a classic. Welcome to the show, and if you're catching us, this is Blabbing for Britain, episode 128. Another 4, and we've been going 2.5 years. I worked it out before we came on air, so that's quite an achievement. Right, any news from around the regions before we get started on the? Oh, well, that's put Stephen off.
Well, I'm going to talk football.
Sorry, just a minute.
I'm going to talk.
Are you licensed to talk about football?
Yeah, but it's actually a very sad story.
All right. Okay. Sorry, Peter. That's
one of the Gothenburg greats of Aberdeen by the name of Neil Cooper, who brought the cup back from Gothenburg. I actually met him at the rehabilitation clinic. He was a big strapping man, 54, and he had a heart attack. And I got to know him through the heart, bless him. I actually met him on Saturday night, and he was a well-known character. And the news came out on Sunday that the night I'd been with him, he'd fell downstairs, burst his head, and unfortunately he died on Monday.
Oh dear.
So the city is in mourning for him, and I just got to know him, and we're going really great.
Yeah.
But one of the Gothenburg greats, and so Aberdeen at the moment is a city in mourning.
Played for the Villa.
Yeah. So he was one of Alex Ferguson's boys. He was actually a ball boy at one stage there. So it's just a bit of sad news for me locally,
Anything happening in the Midlands, John?
I'm drinking it's beef and tomato soup. Not really. Nothing exciting. I've had a few stabbings.
Oh.
People have died as a result of those. They're all youngsters under 20. And it worries me to death as just to where we're going.
Mm-hmm. They're
all in one particular part of the city, which is Handsworth, and Soho, which is one district. You wouldn't walk down the night. You wouldn't walk down the road there at night anyway.
Okay. And do we know the persuasion of these people?
Do you mean are they coloured? Just ask
yes, that's right.
The answer to that is not all.
So the question is to be, why is this happening? Anyway, you know my views and what I would do.
Gang warfare.
Yeah. Look,
right. Okay.
These people in gangs would be great to get rid of their testosterone in the British Army in the front line. Wouldn't they be good? Great fighters.
But the army doesn't want them. It doesn't want them, does it? It wants professionals that get on and do what they're told.
And you know something, to be honest, a lot of British soldiers don't want them either. Don't want them.
Good morning, Steve.
Okay.
How are things in Stoke?
How are we all? So you see how I didn't bite then from my right wing?
Admirable restraint. I thought it was, excellent, most excellent.
Yes, I agree. I think Stokes, for me, Stokes is very quiet at the moment, very hot and sultry, of course. And the palm leaves are gently swaying in the night. Anyway, Stoke have been shortlisted for a Channel 4 move up north. We decided, but we've been shortlisted for things before. But there you go.
One of 10, isn't it?
Christ, not 10 shortlists.
No,
Yeah.
Oh,
10
bloody.
people on the shortlist.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hardly.
Every single city is celebrating being on the shortlist.
Yeah. So,
Quite a few posts on Facebook about it.
yeah,
But congratulations anyway. I mean, considering the number of towns we've got.
But yeah. So just a bit subdued, I suppose, this morning. Although I've got, happy to report that customers are happy with what we're doing, so we can crack on with that.
Go on.
And happy days.
Indeed.
And, is Mr. Rowett settling in behind the manager's desk?
It would appear so, John. I mean, all I get is a sort of chatter from various forums and stuff. Sometimes I might even read the Sentinel, the local rag. But and if I'm anything to go by, I'm really quite looking forward to next season. I've got a good mate who's a Villa fan, and he's. Can we have some uplifting stuff? He's quite sanguine in terms of us meeting up next season at the matches. He didn't fancy actually coming up and playing Man City, for example. So, we're hopeful that we get some decent football. That's what we want, with players who actually want to do a job. I think that's just where I'm coming from.
Right. Billy, comments have come through at long last.
No,
I couldn't see anything. I was cutting and pasting from Facebook. Right, so Billy's the culprit for saying come with some uplifting news. Okay, news from Wiltshire. Weekend was marathon weekend, Sarsen Trail, Avebury to Stonehenge. Thunder and lightning was promised all the way along the course. Angelica joined me for the first 7 miles, uphill and down dale, to All Cannings, and then caught the bus back home. And I carried on walking up to Salisbury Plain, had a bacon sandwich at 11 miles, which is obviously a highlight of any marathon walk, is a freshly cooked bacon sandwich when you're about to do the last 15 miles. It rained a couple of times up to then, and we did have thunder and lightning, and we were promised thunder and lightning across the whole of the plain, but it did not materialise. What did materialise was 75-degree heat and very high humidity, so that I'd had enough by 18 miles. And my legs wouldn't go any further, and so I caught a lift back to the finish. I still have my medal, because you get a medal if you do 7 miles. So as I've done 18, I still claim the medal. And I'm going to be joined by, get this, Angelica's daughter's partner next year, which gives me another chance of going for the 26. He's called Darren, and he's a grand chap, and if he's going to join me along the way, that would be good. So Sarsen Trail, not the same success in the years, bit of rust in the legs. I don't have Peter's level of fitness, I've got to say, yet. So I need to work on that.
And we had your thunderstorms, because I don't know if you've seen, but your flooding we had here at home and at the allotments was unbelievable.
So was your allotment flooded out then? I've seen the picture.
If you have a look on my if you have a look on my Facebook page, you'll see the pictures. We've actually had a lake. Seriously, in about 3/4 of an hour, a lake appeared, and I'm talking something 100 yards wide and 200 yards long.
Yeah.
John, we send our thoughts and prayers to you, mate.
Well,
so is that everything running?
It happened at 5 in the afternoon, and everything had gone by 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Wow.
The question is,
it's a good irrigation strategy going on there, John.
Sadly, it didn't work out like that. Fortunately, only 5 plots were badly hit. The bad news was that 2 of the plots were completely devastated, and both of those were people who'd only taken possession of them 4 months ago. And I've got a feeling they're going to be that pissed off that they'll just walk away.
I mean, the problem is that plots are not built on bowling greens. They tend to be on spare bits of land that nobody else wants. And therefore, the undulating earth, you have to send a digger in, wouldn't you, to flatten it all? Anyway, what's causing all these thunderstorms? And I'll take the obvious answer first.
Well, yeah, just to say one thing, was it 100,000 lightning strikes hit London, which I know is a big area, in about half an hour on Saturday night. That's a fair show. I mean, we had a decent view out the front window here, not London, but it was an amazing show of celestial power.
True. I want to know who counted them.
That'd be a BBC job.
Definitely a BBC job. Right. Well, this time, our weather system, we can blame the Belgians, because the fronts are coming in from Belgium, and anything Belgium gets, we get afterwards, but we get it magnified.
So, are we going to get more?
Today in Wiltshire, we're slated for more, starting mid-afternoon, and I mean, it's just that time. We escape lightly. We don't get typhoons, don't get hurricanes, we don't get earthquakes. But now we've got lightning, and Billy's okay with lightning, I think. Or he's okay with the story.
Not the fact you don't get earthquakes.
Well, we don't get earthquakes of any great magnitude, do we? He said, touching wood.
True.
And not being sat anywhere near a fault. Yeah?
We not get anything.
Going back to my football player friend that died. Did you get a mention in the press down in your area, John?
Yeah.
A bit was that very good. Very good. Okay.
All right. Okay. So to do the obvious.
If he'd been playing football this weekend, he would have got the honorary picture on the board and the black armbands that they do for all ex-players. But
okay. Very good.
All right. And Billy's saying on the positive side, Britain's Got Talent was taken off the air by the thunderstorms. So that's obviously good news. Okay, but there do appear to be a number of thunderstorms which I don't remember, being so frequent. Perhaps that's just a faulty memory. Who knows?
Well, I just had a quick look at our weather, and the forecast is for 20% chance of a thunderstorm at 2 o'clock this afternoon, going right through to 4 in the morning, where between 9 and 4, it's an 85% chance of a thunderstorm.
Mm. And what do you do when there's a thunderstorm? Just practically?
Nothing.
John does nothing?
Nothing. Or nothing, although I'm aware that back in the day I was told to unplug everything, hide upstairs, and but nothing.
Sorry, John.
I would say if you've got a modern house, the electric will trip if it's struck. So.
Yeah, I've got the old habits though. I still pull the plug out, definitely on my computer, and Angelica on hers. Apart from that, we don't bother. But if the computers get hit, Peter.
Yes.
When there's thunder and lightning, what do you do from a practical point of view?
It runs out in the woods.
No, what we've got to do is try and calm our dog down, because Poppy goes absolutely berserk when there's thunder and lightning. So beautiful to watch, but it's a shame for dogs because they don't know what's happening, and she is terrified of it. Having said that, speaking about my dog, she's now through to grade 5 because she got a first and a second last week, and she's now fighting for 6th and 7th grade. And when she goes to 7th, hopefully she'll be able to go to places like Crufts and compete. So well done, Sheila. Well done.
That's remarkable. Piano, presumably.
Yeah. Pardon?
Piano playing, is that what you're talking about?
That was exactly what went through my mind as well.
Well, why piano playing?
Grades.
They're all in grades.
Oh, grades. Beg your pardon. All right, okay.
Catch up, son. Catch up.
I know.
All right, and Billy's just saying he unplugs his computer as well still. So he and I are of the same mind, and our computers have never been struck by lightning. I don't want to eat my words either.
I was going to say, Stephen, be careful there.
I know. I know. Right, okay, let's go around the world then, around the UK. And let's start off with Russia and Ukraine. Arkady Pachenko, Russian journalist, back from the dead. Yeah. Now, this was false news to beat all false news, wasn't it?
It is.
The Russians.
Can I jump in there? Because Sue and I had a 5-hour car journey yesterday, listening to the BBC on every bloody programme. And we had such an in-depth knowledge of the circumstances of the reporting of this fake news. It was the lead on every BBC News broadcast.
Yeah.
And by the end, we were sort of saying to each other, "Oh, have you heard? Wait a minute. No, really? I wonder how we know." The BBC went nuts on it. Absolutely nuts on it.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was everywhere. And it's basically, I mean, after Salisbury, anything of this ilk is going to be seized upon by our media as being a repetition of Russia taking everything into its own hands on foreign soil. But in this case, it was part of a plan, a cunning plan to keep him safe and to bring his would-be assassin, out into the open. That's the Kiev explanation, that this was done so that they could actually catch the assassin. Logic says that if you do that, then the assassin is going to think, something going on here, I'm going to hide.
Great out of Tom Clancy.
What do you think of the Russians trying to close down free speech?
I never knew they opened it up, Peter.
Did you know that someone was jailed for 13 months in the UK for a kind of free speech?
Are we talking about a certain right-wing person?
Well, Mr. Robinson, yes, yeah. They soon huckled him away.
Contempt of court.
It's not come out yet, everything that's happened. It's all hearsay at the moment. It's quite interesting, though. Very interesting. Why did they put a D notice on? What's all that about then? A D notice. That's meant to be for defence of the realm. Or when the nation is in national, because that's what was brought out for, a D notice.
Yeah. He apparently.
What's your thoughts on that then?
He apparently was told in court not to mention anything that happened in court outside the court until the case was finished. He immediately went outside court and got out his phone and started broadcasting to the world everything that happened in court.
Yeah, but the case was finished.
Is that right?
For sentencing. Yeah. It's all muddled, but I do believe, because he was arrested initially for a possible breach of the peace. And then when they got him in, they changed it, and they huckled him away for 13 months. Then they let him use his own solicitor. Banned. Interesting.
I'm very happy if they couldn't find the key to let him out. So.
Yeah, I well said, John. It's he and his ilk are not worthy of any publicity whatsoever, and should just quickly be forgotten. Because they're not working for the benefit of the UK. So there you are. That's as left wing as I'm going to go. Right, and Stephen, well done again. Right, okay. Now in better news, it's on. They're going to meet in Singapore. Is that good news all round? And they're actually talking at a higher level at the moment for President Trump and Kim Sung Thingy to meet up in Singapore.
Well, he'll post the same as he did with his meeting with Kim Kardashian, won't he? Great meeting! And that'll be it, you know. Will it affect our lives? There's a question for you.
I think that if two countries could get together and they could stop nuclear proliferation, that's a good word to say, isn't it? In North Korea, then the world would be a better place. And it's just timing, and it just happens to have come to a situation where North Korea actually feel it's to their advantage to broker a truce.
Do you think,
Stephen?
Do you think? Oh, sorry, on you go.
I really think that. I think the crowning glory, the crowning achievement of all this, would be for Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize, because that's when you sort of say, "That's it. We've reached bottom level now. That is the absolute limit of the mess that the world is in." And then hopefully there'll be some sort of nuclear conflagration and we can all start again, like in the various sci-fi movies we've all seen and loved. Because it is absolutely bloody ridiculous. You have, so much, we can't swear here, so much shit going on in the world, most of it caused by the Republican Party in America. And then we have it's almost obscene, Kim Kardashian talking to the president about a genuine cause. A woman who's been jailed for a minor offence, but for life. But then, like everything he does, it's wrong, man. Wrong.
It's interesting though, this case, because you couldn't find a more free-living, free-loving president than Obama. And he declined her. So why did he decline to pardon her?
Oh.
At the end of his reign, whatever you want to call it, term of office,
presidency.
he pardoned a whole load of people. And she was also looked at by his team, and they declined to pardon her. So there's got to be more to it than we're all reading.
Yeah, indeed. And Billy's asking the very pertinent question, saying that President Trump is coming to the UK on Friday, 13th of July, 2 days before the World Cup final. Is he hoping that we'll be distracted? That is the most optimistic statement heard on this programme for quite a while. Because if we're distracted, it means that England are in the final. Yes. Okay. There's as much chance to that, John, as well.
I don't know. I'm all for the team that's been picked. Let's give the youngsters a bloody good chance.
Okay.
Instead of keep fielding the same people over and over again.
Right. And to Billy's request to lighten the mood then, trains obviously are all in the news because it changed timetables, trains not running, everything. And the CEO of Thameslink compared the poor service on his line to Poundland chocolate.
Cooking chocolate, it was actually what.
Right. And he was saying, well, can you explain, John?
Well, I think he chose made his choice very badly. First of all, Poundland actually does some really good chocolate. But he did compare it to their cheap and cheerful cooking chocolate, which didn't make the headlines. But if you read the actual tweet, that's what he did. But basically, he was trying to say that Poundland's stuff was really poor quality, and his service had matched it, which rather upset Poundland's managing director.
They're going to sue.
I think they've actually agreed this morning. It looks like they've actually agreed a settlement. So,
for charity.
I don't know. I didn't see the details, but there was a "we're friends again" type tweet this morning.
Okay. Right. So trains and chocolate.
Poundland, of course, is a local employer to myself and Stephen, because they're sort of halfway between here and Stoke.
Oh, right. Whereabouts in Stoke? Around there?
They're just north of. They're by the M54 in just north of Wolverhampton.
Warsaw.
Well, no, they're further north than that.
When does Walsall start and Wolverhampton end and Wolverhampton begin? That's the question of the day.
You could say it's possibly Telford, Shropshire. So they're by the M54 anyway. The same place as the Jaguar Land Rover make engines.
Right. That I do know. Okay. Right. Okay. Now we're getting close. The clock's ticking. It's May 31st. Sometime in March next year, God knows what's going to happen. But Mrs. May has been told his time's running out by big business. And when we say big business, we mean big business. We're talking about the top 250 companies in Europe telling Mrs. May that how the hell can we invest in the UK if we haven't got a clue what's going on? So let's keep it sort of, let's just keep it.
Rees-Mogg for Prime Minister? You think go tomorrow and not care a toss about what happened as a consequence?
No, Peter's very quiet. And I think, no, he's not frozen. I saw him move, Peter.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm just listening because I'm outnumbered by lefties. How's the thing, right?
All right, okay.
We're liberals. At least two of us are liberal.
Yeah.
Left-leaning liberals. Anyway, listen. It's going to happen. Whatever happens. Whatever happens, let's just work with it. Let's just get the country back and a country that can look up to and say, oh, I'd love to get to that country. Look at the way they've done. And Italy will be saying, we'll have to do the same.
Peter, you're always saying that people want this come to this country. All the immigrants coming to this country already do.
Yes, but it'll be
the wrong
even
kind of immigrant?
better. No, it'll be even better when they want to come. They'll say, oh my, we need to get in there. And then it'll be a much better country than it is today. It's too fragmented just now. But no, we've just got to get on with it. The majority of the nation decided there will be things that we don't even know about getting talked about because the Europeans are scared. They're scared. Look at Italy. Look what's happening in Italy. So you mark my words, things will change. Just get on with it. Looks like
Berlusconi could come back in Italy.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Alexa, stop. Sorry, just a minute. She mishears words. That's the problem. Berlusconi, the two parties who couldn't form a government both want to go out, leave Europe, leave the EU. Can't leave Europe, obviously. And they've now bought time before the next election to actually really get organised and getting government together and take Italy out of the EU. And Italy is the third largest economy in the EU now that we're going. Yeah. So Germany
tells you something that's happening. Yeah. Some people aren't pleased with something. What is it?
I think it's been told how to run your country, Peter. Oh, I didn't say that. Right. Okay.
By the Europeans. Yeah.
No. By the gnomes of Zurich.
While we're on the topic of Europe, if the illegal immigrant made himself known by doing something in this country, we'd probably stick him in a holding cell and then think about getting rid of him, wouldn't we? Whereas in France,
absolutely right. Did you see the video
of him climbing?
Yeah, that was the most amazing thing I've seen outside of a Marvel movie.
But it's not that. It's what the French have done as a result. He was instantly given rights of abode. He's been given a job with the Fire Brigade as an intern, which I'm not sure whether it means he gets paid or not, because we don't seem to pay our interns in the UK, and promised citizenship in the short term.
Sure.
And
why was the 4-year child hanging from the balcony? And my God, that 4-year-old child hung on for a good 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, there was a gentleman from the balcony next door holding its arm.
Was that what it was?
Oh.
But he could not get sufficient purchase to lift him over to his own balcony because of the barrier in between. He could just reach round enough to hold the child. The child's holding like this, so he held the arm closest to him.
But Stephen raised the issue about I think you did, John. What would the Brits do? And there was an example of that just yesterday, wasn't there, where some guy had, shown some valour, so to speak, and he's on the next plane out because he was undocumented, and therefore, no, we don't do that sort of thing. It's craziness.
Right. Whilst we're on immigration, we know that the Polish community is the largest European community inside Britain. Okay, but who's second?
Romania.
Thank you, John. I can now bring this headline up. 400,000 Romanians live in the UK. It's a tragedy for the homeland. 2014, we had 200,000 Romanians. Now we've got double that, which proves the attraction already, Peter, of the UK, well before we decide to leave the EU. But it's having an effect on their own country, because these are 400,000, presumably 400,000 people of working age, and they've only got a population of 20 million. So when you take close on 500,000 people...
Well, it shows you what's wrong with their country, doesn't it? There's something wrong with their country. Has a place leaving the EU and they want to go to it. Why would that be?
It's because if they come here for 2 years, when they go and take the money they accumulate back to Romania, they can live like millionaires.
Yes, I know. And I see some Romanians in Aberdeen, how they work and live here. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know.
Well, round here, the joke used to be if you wanted a plumber, you got a Polish man. The joke today is if you want a plumber, you get a Romanian.
Well, there you go. If you're quite happy, that's no problem if they do the job.
Most of the Polish have gone back home.
That's right. And I'll tell you something else.
Here we go.
Right, we're off.
You look at how many people are Poland taken in as immigrants?
You mean,
how many are?
You mean refugees or people emigrating to Poland?
Emigrating to Poland, or even refugees. It's hardly any.
No idea, Peter. Carry on.
37.
Well, so basically, one of the reasons they don't go there, and it's been said, is because they have a poor welfare system. They don't get as much money as coming here. And that was said. But the Polish, if for what I've seen, has made it very difficult to come in. And even worse than them is, what do you call their, not Yugoslavia, or the other one.
Slovakia.
Basically, no, it's the other European country where they've said, okay, we're part of the European Union, but we're still not taking in our quota. And they haven't. What's the name? Is it Hungary?
Hungary, yeah. Rings a bell.
They've refused. So what's happening to them about that? What are they doing to them for refusing to take the quota?
No idea.
No idea. Interesting.
But going back to Poland, one of the things that's happened over the last 20 years with all the Poles coming here is that their children have had English educations or British educations. They've gone back to Poland, and the standard of work, the standard of education resulting in employment levels has increased because we've a significant number, and that has led to investment in Poland from companies that would previously never have invested in Poland.
Well,
so now the economy is growing not just because they brought back money from the UK, France and other places, but because people are now inwardly investing in Poland because the skill of workers has risen in Poland.
Well, I've got a couple of...
They're still cheaper than they are here.
One of the skills that has risen is language skills. And I can speak from my experience, Angelica's experience. Angelica has been teaching English to Polish immigrant workers in the UK. And they know that if they come over here and learn language in situ, which is Peter and I agree is the best way to do it, they can go back to Poland, and language, being able to speak English, is one of their skills. Yeah.
I maybe told you this story before. I know quite a few Polish people, and I've been getting on with them great. And I said to two really intelligent ones, whose one's dad her dad runs a watch business in Poland, and I said, "Listen, how's you two bright people?" And I said, "You've came to this country. What's happening in your country that people like you can't go and build it?" And they said, "You know what they said? You're joking. You're joking, aren't you?" This says it's corrupt. The money would go and they put it in their pockets, and that was their answer to me. And they both work in the oil industry, and they've done very well over here. Not a couple of great people. You know, it's quite interesting. That was their answer to me.
Right, just to change the mood for a moment, I'm going to have a call to action scrolling across the bottom of the screen, hopefully slowly. Live Streaming Awards 2018. The winners are announced on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. BST. Thank goodness voting has finished. The judge's decision will be final. Sorry, Stephen.
You mean tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow. Yep. And I think
how you doing?
Last seen on the top 10 leaderboard at number 7. That's behind 2 schools and Uncle Ebo. And Uncle Ebo is a children's entertainer. Can't fault the schools. The schools are using technology and using live video, and that's absolutely brilliant. But when you ask all your pupils to vote, they can leave assembly early. What do you think is going to happen? They don't have to turn to class for the next 10 minutes. What they're going to do in those 10 minutes. So we have 2 schools with thousands of votes, and then in 5th place or 4th place is Karen Glasser, who is a fellow BeLive TV user. So who knows what will happen tomorrow night? Who knows what happened between when I last saw the scoreboard and the results? So I'm looking forward to it.
Those 40,000 false votes that I've done with all those email addresses I created, you'll be number 1 by then.
I did have an offer.
Yeah, just a cookie so you can't cheat.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't have done that, John, but I did get an offer which I kindly refused from somebody we both know but won't name. So there we are, Live Streaming Awards. We find out the results tomorrow. Glued to our YouTube channel and watching the countdown from 10 through to 1. It'd be interesting to see. Last year I gave an emotional valedictory speech. This year I'm more prepared.
Are you likely to win anything this time, Stephen?
I hope to win some. I hope to actually get something concrete. In other words, something physical. I would like a PTZ or PTZ, as we would say, camera. That would be very nice. Thank you very much. And that's worth about $500. And then I could do all sorts of things broadcasting wise if I had a PTZ camera. So if you're listening to PTZ Optics and Stream Geeks in particular, please. Right. Okay.
And how much is that camera worth, Stephen?
$500.
$500.
Yep.
So it'd be £600 in the UK then. By the time.
Most definitely. Right.
Tax and.
Billy's saying Stephen to win. Thank you, Billy.
Question on kind of related on that.
Yeah.
Is it heard of TransferWise?
No.
Like a PayPal alternative for international payments? Big signs.
Dim and distant bells. Right. Are you thinking of using it?
Yeah, I've got a supplier, shall we say, in India, and
Uh-huh.
we need to work out how, because PayPal is so bloody expensive, and the bank. And I've heard of TransferWise, but enough of my problems. But I hope you win, Stephen, obviously, and we'll be celebrating, presumably celebrating next Thursday with a specially extended edition of
episode 129, the Victor's Parade. No, okay. Now, to keep on with lightening the mood, can you think what these were, or what words were said? The top 10 worst excuses for not appointing women executives.
My favourite was, already got one of them.
That was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? We've already got one. We've done our bit. My other board colleagues wouldn't appoint a woman to our board, and most women don't want the hassle of pressure of sitting on a board. And I don't think women are comfortable in a board environment. And finally, to end this particular section, I can't appoint a woman just because I want to. Only men could say that a lot, couldn't they? I mean, not that the four of us would say it, but I mean, it is weak excuses for not appointing women. I mean, I believe that it should be on merit, each person for the job. But we still have this sort of sexist thing where we look at women's jobs, look at men's jobs, look at equality on boards and what have you. Right. Okay. Now, this is going to get you, Peter, because I'm going to admit something now. Right. The Chairman Mao impersonator to a blockchain conference causes furor. Which is it, gentlemen? Furore. It caused havoc by appearing on a very large screen impersonating Chairman Mao. What's wrong with that?
So just try and explain what happened again.
It was a blockchain conference, just a normal run-of-the-mill blockchain conference, and one of the presenters appeared upon a big screen impersonating Chairman Mao, down to Chairman Mao's regional accent. So there was no... He was pretending to be Chairman Mao.
Don't you get shot for that in China?
Well, it is illegal. It is illegal to impersonate one of the country's leaders, past or present.
And so, was he Chinese, the person that done this?
To look like Chairman Mao, I think you have to be somewhat Chinese. Sorry, Peter. Right. Yeah, it's one of these where it's almost really just too farcical for words, isn't it? But this is my admission. When I were a lad and when I were at school, it was the vogue to write to the Chinese embassy in London. I've been here before, I think. I've got a deja vu as soon as I started saying this. Yeah. So get a copy of Chairman Mao's little red book.
All right.
And that'd be worth a fortune today.
The Drifters wrote a song about that.
Go then, Peter.
I'll say the word. I won't sing it. You're more than a number in my little red book. You're more than a one-night stand.
Right. Cut. Cut.
But listen, do you know what?
Here we go.
Be prepared for living in a very bland society in the next few years. Dare you say anything about anybody? Little hint of sarcasm, humour.
Stephen, you got the button ready.
The police will be at your door and you'll be in the back of that van as quick as you can. Never to see you again.
I've got two.
Is it okay if I tell a joke? Can I tell a joke here? Do you not think so? We'll be getting little Chairman Mao uniforms. No, with a little hat and a red star, and we'll be walking about like this.
Right, and Peter sent the copy.
I've always wanted one of those jackets with that collar, actually.
Oh yeah.
Do you know, I know a Chinese people who do massage and things, and I've been telling. The guy's a big, tall guy, and we got on great. And his daughter's basically an Aberdonian. I was chatting away, and she repeats everything, etc. And I says to him, did your dad get one of those uniforms? Because it must have been the biggest one here. And they were laughing because he actually, as a kid, had to wear that uniform. You know, the little uniforms that they had. And he actually wore one. And I was quite surprised how many of them are getting out of China now. They're living over here now. And so it's really, I got to be honest, I thought they still went about in them. But they've got suits and everything now. They're very modernised.
I just got to. I'm a liberal, Peter, as we all know, but I'm just going to say I hope all of China doesn't decide to come over to the UK because we haven't got enough space. Right. Okay. Now onto something serious, which will affect us very, very quickly. And Trump's tariffs on, Europe is braced for US tariffs on steel and aluminium. We do know, we've spoken in the past about the fact that it's going to have tariffs on China, which could be imposed middle of June. But I forgot about, the tariffs are going to be imposed on steel and aluminium, which is going to affect our exports of steel. Although, having said that, do we still have a steel industry?
A little bit, but not a lot. Tarto, who bought British Steel, we're going to close it all down.
Yeah.
They've kept a small amount open because they're feeding people of the ilk of Land Rover, etc. And of course, they own Jaguar Land Rover, so you're keeping money in the family.
That's always the best way to do it. Own the supply chain. Yeah. Okay.
Do you not think it'll equal out the balance of? We all like the cheapest of stuff, even me. But no, sometimes I don't know. I've got to say that. When I go for cycling kit or everything now, I tend to look upward in price rather than downwards for comfort. Okay? And I think that it'll balance itself out because if a country is getting flooded with cheap aluminium or whatever, it's got a knock-on effect somewhere, and it might balance it out to say, right, make it even. They might not be so cheap, and the other country might, because Trump did say that he would get work for the Americans, and this is his way of doing it. Well, look at the tariffs; it's expensive to get that, and now we might as well make it themselves. You might get the same high wages that you had before, but at least you're going to be in work. It might work out that way.
They were interviewing some people from a town that relied upon steel, and the steel industry is now gone. And they said, and I'm talking worker level here, said, well, it's a bit too late now because they've knocked the plant down. So how are we going to bring steel back to our town?
Yeah.
That's
true.
Yeah. It's difficult to take a step
back.
Anyway,
will it affect us? Because I heard them announce this tariff, and they're going to put this tariff on some product called aluminum. Yeah.
I did say aluminium, John, quite on purpose.
No. I said when they announced it, it was a different product. Yeah, aluminum. Sorry, I'm taking the piss out of a shared language that's totally ruined by
our replay viewers in America are going to be most taken aback by your... Never mind. Right, okay, now who's going to be watching the World Cup in 4K HDR?
Not me, I'm not a Stewart.
Not me either.
Just stand up because my back's aching. I will be back in less than 20 seconds.
Okay.
What's the deal? Are they saying that Freeview is going to go 4K? 4K if you've got the box, presumably.
I think that's the deal. That if you got the requisite hardware, then you can watch in 4K HDR, and you can see the penalty shootouts in glorious colour. When we play Germany in the quarterfinals.
4K TV.
Yeah.
You can't have a small one these days, can you?
No, it's not allowed. Have you seen that? You know, when you've got a solution looking for a problem, yeah. There's a new Samsung TV out. I think it's Samsung. If it's not, I apologise. And it's a wall-mounted television, yeah. And by some trickery, it actually, when it's not switched on, it adopts the colorways of your wallpaper displayed on screen, and you can't see it.
Wow.
It's like it's part of the wall. I think that's a great advance of technology, don't you?
Oh.
Yeah. So if you've got
a Samsung 55-inch curved 4K UHD smart TV with HDR for 569 notes from Argos, or we can get a 43-inch LG from £349, which ain't that. When you think of the sort of it's about 300 quid. Get one for about 300 quid, but you'd have to buy a box then, wouldn't you? A Freeview box.
Yeah, my bugbear about smart TVs is quite simple and straightforward. That they upgrade the software and downgrade the apps that are available. And our set, it's not that old, but it can't play YouTube anymore.
Really?
You can't download the YouTube app. You can't play YouTube on the TV.
So my smart does YouTube. I've got a Samsung smart TV. I'm not a big watcher of it, but we had to replace ours because the old one went pop. And that came with a built-in Freeview HD tuner.
Ah, very good.
But the aerial's so crap, it's useless. Because I said to see, get rid of the TiVo box from Virgin, but it's just our aerial's just not good.
Can I just ask that I'm sitting here, I've got a television to my left in my manhut, and it's a blog point. It's got a free view. The telly's free view.
Does that mean it came from Asda?
Yeah, right. So does that mean I have to get an extra box to see it in 4K?
If it's a 4K TV, it's quite likely got a built-in tuner. But, but the programs on Freeview are mainly just HD. But the truth is, can you actually see that much difference between a 4K and an HD TV? You know, unless it's a really big screen.
Yeah.
My Samsung's out of contract. And the replacement has got a much higher resolution. You can't buy them anymore, Pete. They've gone off the market.
What, the 1.5, the One Touch?
It's replaced by version 6.
Yeah.
And the 9, which is the replacement for my 7, although you could buy an 8, I can't see the difference in the screen, but it's nearly 50% higher resolution because my eye can't cope with it.
That's the point, isn't it? But if we've been there before. Billy's saying HDR is more important for viewing than 4K. Right, if I said Tony the Tiger to you, what do you think?
That they're going to ban him until after 9 p.m. and make him come off the packets.
Proposal from a parliamentary committee to ban cartoon characters on unhealthy food, as John says before.
It's bloody stupid. Sorry, but we're going crazy now and trying to control what humans eat and how they help choose that. And it's just got too far now. If I want to be obese, I'll be obese. I know this is targeted at 11-year-olds, but Tony the Tiger isn't an 11-year-old issue. 11-year-olds issue. Tony the Tiger is a 5- and 6-year-olds issue.
Well, having said that, how many people do you know that smoke now? And that came about.
I'm still married to someone that smokes because she can't give up whatever she tries.
Yeah, I know, but there's not many people around me that smoke now.
My children wouldn't smoke, any of them, and they all give their mum a hard time because she smokes.
Yeah.
When we've been married 36 years now, and when we were courting, to use a very old-fashioned word, we went on a trip down the River Severn on a boat from Worcester down, and then turn around and go back up. And she said she promised me on that trip that when cigarettes get to 50 pence a packet, she'll give up. I think they're £10 a pack now.
Yeah. I can remember when there were 3 shillings 11 pence.
Oh, yeah, but I remember that. But I can remember a gallon of petrol being 3 shillings and 6pence.
That's when we had gallons, John. Sorry, Peter.
Yeah, but I'm saying it took legislation. Now, I, as a person that wants to get healthy now, you need to catch the children early. The advertisers know what they're doing. Instead of having that tiger, etc., they know what they're doing, and they capture the kids, and it's just the way we've been brought up. Ronald McDonald's the same, and it's just all down to advertising rules.
But why not turn Tony the Tiger round and have Tony the Tiger sell the benefits of fitness and the benefits of his low sugar version of his product?
Maybe that's maybe the way to do it, you know, and get them to. Well, you haven't got to ridicule people, but you know what I like. But yeah, just do you want to have a lean shaped body, get a nice beard when you're older? You got to stop eating Tony the Tiger stuff. Eat this instead.
I haven't ate Tony the Tiger stuff for years, but I just think a step too far.
Well, as a diabetic, when I go and shop, everything I look at, I go and look at the coding, and the coding has been brilliant. Because if I see it's too high in sugar, I just put it back, and I'll say, I'll pick this, and I look for the not complete gold, but very low sugar. I look for now, because if you use the sweeteners and things, it can give you upset stomachs and things. So very low sugar I look for now, and I think you've got to educate the kids and don't learn by my mistakes. Yeah, so I think it's a good idea.
I need to dash, guys, but it's been a delight as ever, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Thanks for your bye.
Bye.
Before we go, I've got a topic. In the Daily Express yesterday and several other newspapers, there was a family that promised on YouTube that they'd stop at 20 children, but they're having another one, 21. And I said, this is disgusting, living off the state. And I really owe that couple an apology, because the only state aid they get is the £170 child benefit, which you would get for the first 3 children. You don't get anything after 3 children, child benefit wise. And he's worked his rocks off making pies at night. And they live off the pie business they've created, and they bought themselves a 10-bedroom house. And I'm sorry, but they were portrayed as almost being scroungers. And when I actually read it properly, I realised that I'd misjudged the family completely.
That's right. I think, I don't know if it was that family, but they had paid their own way in life all the way.
Have utterly done so.
Yeah, and good for them, and but that's how you can. I got the chance to actually say, I don't know if I told you this before, but I actually got the chance to say sorry to someone that was in the press, and it was to do with Chernobyl, and the kids come over here, and this guy helped getting them over, and ex-alcoholic. And then the next thing I read in the press, something bad about it. And, every time I seen him in the street and said to myself, well, how could you? And, I was setting up one night to do some singing, and he'd actually been exonerated. And I went over to him and I says, I'm coming over to apologise to you. What I read about you, I says, I've never judged anyone again because of that. And he was really, really thankful that I came over and done that. So, you know what I'm like. I like to have a laugh and joke and sometimes, but no, I actually kind of stopped prejudging people a while back because of that, because it kind of ruined his life for a bit, and he's came back.
Billy say he must spend some time at home. Apparently he goes home, he works nights because they make pies, which obviously you want fresh in the morning, but apparently he goes home at 7:25 to drive the minibus with the kids to the various school and then goes back to work. So yeah, I think this guy does work bloody hard. That word, shouldn't have used it. So what's Stephen? Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I just took a break from a moment. Corinda says hello everyone, and then goes on
to seeing Corinda.
Goes on to say, what's the agenda for today?
We're all going, mate. That's what the agenda is.
Yeah, you're an hour late. It's been a fantastic show. Nobody lost.
Yeah, we've only had one rant all show.
Yeah, and Corinda, where was you last week when we needed you? When we were accused of something? Remember that, guys?
Oh God.
Oh yeah. let's not go there. He
big W, and that's the word I'm going to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was funny.
Indeed. I think we can all translate that. Billy's saying we should do the whole show again for Corinda. Well, Corinda, we talked about the Russian journalist who died and came back. We talked about North Korea meeting the President of the United States. We talked about Thameslink comparing his poor service on his train system to Poundland cooking chocolate. I've been corrected on that. We talked about the Chairman Mao impersonator to blockchain conference. We talked about Trump's China tariffs that could be imposed on Europe in June. And then we went on to time's running out for Brexit, for big business. And we all gave our take on that. And then the World Cup, you can watch it in HDR. Billy was saying earlier, HDR is the more important thing, not the 4K. So we're going to have to read up on
what HDR is.
High definition.
It's actually where you've got your picture level. You take a picture level above and a picture level below, and you combine the three to make one more comprehensive picture.
Right. Okay. And thank you, Billy, for the compliment.
Doing it as a built-in function for about 10 years.
Thank you, Billy, for the compliment. I'll keep that on screen for a second. Take a screenshot later. I'm joking. We talked about HDR. We didn't get to talking about Fortnite. I don't think any of us play it, so it's not really of any. No. We talked about banning cartoon characters on unhealthy foods. We talked about the fact that we used to have 200,000 Romanians living in the UK 4 years ago. We've now got 400,000, and the effect it's having on their economy. We told everybody, this is the educational bit. We talked about what is causing these thunderstorms in the UK, the ones during Wiltshire this afternoon. They stopped me from talking about the Grand Prix, so we didn't mention the Grand Prix. Sorry, Corinda. We talked about the live streaming awards, the live video. The live video hub. That's about it. So that's the Cooked tour.
It was a very good program. Right. It just flowed, didn't it?
It does. John, over to you.
Well, goodbye from Stephen PH, because he's already buggered off. So it's goodbye from the rest of us. So that's Peter up there, or is it up there? I'm not quite sure which direction, but he could be down there. On the other one, he could be over there. And it's goodbye from Stephen with a V, because he's up there. No, he's not. He's down there. But anyway, it's goodbye from all of us. We hope you enjoyed the program. Do something good this weekend. I'm damn sure Peter's going to do a good bike ride, and Stephen's going to do some more walking practice, and I'm going to do digging. So see you all. Bye.
Bye.